Alright, welcome to part 3 of our Python custom scripting series. Today we're building a standard U-bolt. That means a half torus for the bend, 2 cylinders for the legs with chamfers at the ends, and 2 nuts. So first, we need to create a cylinder, and then a cone, which will serve as our chamfer. We'll also need a half torus. That means we'll create a full torus and remove one half of it. However, I think it's better if we create a custom primitive for this instead. To create the nuts, we'll use the built-in variant scripts provided by Plant3D. These scripts already include standard nut components. I'll leave the path to the variants.zip folder, where all the standard Plant3D Python functions are stored, in the video description. You can decompile them to see how they work and learn how to use them in your own scripts. First, you need to unpack the zip file somewhere on your computer. Then, simply drag and drop the .pyc file into the decompiler's input area, and it will show you the readable Python code. When we call the nut function, we'll need to provide at least the thread diameter, the nut width, and the nut height. However, in most cases, just the diameter is enough. The script can automatically calculate the standard dimensions based on that. Alright, let's wrap up the theory and jump into practice. Now we're going to wrap the cylinder, cone, and torus primitives into our own classes. We'll also create a custom cylinder primitive with chamfers. That one's gonna come in handy a lot. Enjoy watching. just improving the standard method a little. Instead of combining bodies one by one, we'll add the ability to batch combine multiple bodies at once. To make this work, we'll ensure we always have a list of bodies, even if we're only working with a single one.